Hey guys, what's up? So, welcome back to another episode of, developer skills. Now, what takes so long just to upload the first episode? So yeah, we're gonna continue Unit 2. Now we're gonna start Unit 2, okay. Introductions. Web pages are created using HTML and CSS. HTML is to write a page's content. CSS is used to define the design and layout of the page. The HTML to the right never changes. The same HTML file is styled three different ways by using three different CSS files. All the visual differences in color, font, and where elements are arranged on the page as a result of CSS. So many are different here. Oh, what? He's so cool. A web page is a collection of HTML elements. CSS is used to control the appearance of an HTML element. So we can click this to see. It's used to control the appearance of an HTML element. The code to the right specifies the H1 elements be colored red. This code is called a CSS rule. Click the eyeball to see the web page. In the CSS rule to the right, change the color from red to yellow. CSS rules. CSS uses rules to style HTML elements. Here's how CSS rules work. A CSS rule starts with a selector. So here it is. A selector specifies which HTML elements to style. Here, the H1 CSS selector selects all H1 HTML elements on the page. Inside the braces, a property and its value define what aspect of the H1 elements to style. Setting the color property to red changes the color of the H1 element to red. Together, a selector and its property value pairs are called a CSS rule. Class action rule. HTML elements can be CSS selectors, but they're not the only selectors available. Another available selector is the class selector. To see how it works, let's look at the first HTML to the right. HTML can carry a class attribute. A class can be targeted from CSS by using a dot, as seen in the CSS to the right. We have to click this now. The dot header selector applies a blue text color only to the elements nested in the div class header. In this way, classes are useful to specifically target groups of HTML elements. Click the eyeball to see the web page. The text inside div class header is blue. Since the text hello world is outside the div, it remains unstyled. It's possible to be even more specific by combining classes and element names. A CSS selector selects any P element nested inside an HTML element with the class named header, and it colors it blue. In this way, a CSS rule targets specific HTML elements on the page and applies a style to them. The few next cards will cover three common CSS properties available. Yeah, got it. The color property sets the color of the. We can use color names to change the text color, but this only works for 140 colors. Instead, we can use RGB values or hexadecimal numbers. We can represent millions of colors. RGB values and hex numbers express colors as different amounts of red, green, and blue. RGB, yeah. Change the color from red to the RGB value. So we change this to RGB 102 1530. Change the color from red to the hex number. Hashtag 9933cc. The font family The font family property sets the font of an HTML element's text. 3 fonts commonly used with HTML font family are Arial, Helvetica, Sans Serif, Times New Roman, Times Serif, Courier New, Courier Monospace. Google Fonts is a free collection of over 600 more web fonts that you can use on your page. Cool. Change the font family on your Shift Sans Serif to Open Sans Serif. Open Sans Serif. There. The font changed here. The font size property sets the size of an HTML element's text. Text size can be measured in pixels, ems, or reps. We will use pixels here. Increase the font size to 60 pixels. Okay. Well done, bro. More? You've got to be kidding me. Review. CSS uses rules to define the design of an HTML element. Here's a HTML element label. Okay, technically we already know all this. The background color property sets the color for the background of an HTML element. Cool. To the hex number 0099cc. There. The background image is just an image on the background URL. I'm just gonna copy and paste. Border says the width, style, and color of an element's border. So for the border, 3 pixels. So the border will be 3 pixels solid. CC000. Padding property creates space between the content and the border of an element. This white space is useful in order to improve readability and organization of the page. Padding to 23. The padding property sets the padding on all sides. It's possible to set the padding on each side. The property is padding top, padding bottom, padding bottom. Okay. Padding top 10 pixels. Padding bottom 23. Margin property creates space for multiple HTML elements. The margin is a transparent area outside the border of an element. Okay, margin 14 pixels. And this, yeah. The margin property sets the margin on all sides. It's impossible to set the margin on each side. It's possible to set the margin on each side. Okay, we already know this. 10 here, 23. Margin, the properties margin left, margin, and margin right are available to set the margin on either side of it. If one of these properties is set to auto, then it will take up as much as possible to move the HTML elements to the far left of the screen. Use margin right auto. This will maximize the amount of space there is on the right side margin, pushing the element to the far left. To center an element, set margin right auto and margin left auto. Cool. Margin right auto and add margin left auto. There. Hidden link. Here's an example of CSS in a web page. The head element contains information that the web browser needs to display the page. The link element tells the browser where to find the CSS file used to style the page. The rel attribute tells the browser that the file being linked in a CSS file to style the page. The href attribute gives the browser the path to the CSS file. The body element contains the content of the page that shows up in the web browser. Okay, now we're going to start styling. Stuffy nose, sorry. So yeah, this is what we will do. So here's the preview. We just saw 8 CSS properties and how they can be used to style HTML elements. Now let's use them together to start styling the Airbnb homepage. The file main.css has the CSS rules that styles the HTML in index.html. We'll create these CSS rules in this section. Now that's a lot. Click Save and Submit Code to get started. So this is what we have so far. Look, they changed it to Airbnb logo for us. I'm going to capitalize the L. Navigation. Let's start by styling the navigation bar. In index.html. Oh wait. The div class nav groups elements that are part of the navigation bar section of the web page. Inside div class nav are the A elements we want to style. Therefore, we can select all A elements inside the div class nav in CSS like this. The CSS selector, whoa, that's a lot of instructions. The CSS selector nav A selects any A element nested inside a HMTL, wow, mistake, element with the class named nav. The color property sets the color to, oh yeah, we already know this. Make a new CSS rule that selects all A elements nested inside the div class nav, or the class of nav. Check out the example above. So A like this. Set the color to hashtag 5A. And font size to 11 pixels. Font weight to bold. Padding top. No. Now here it should say padding top, padding. You know what? We're just gonna take the shortcut we learned earlier. Padding. So the top has to be 14 pixels. The left has to be 10 pixels. The right has to be 10 pixels. The bottom has to be 14 pixels, and the left has to be 10 pixels. So yeah, look at that. Text. So if we want all text to be like uppercase, then we have to do text transform. Uppercase. There. Save it to my code. Jumbotron, nice work. The links in the navigation bar are styled. Next, let's style the large feature section. In index.html, the div class the Jumbotron groups elements that are the part of the large feature section. Create a new CSS rule. It says the instructions. So, with Jumbotron as the selector, in the height has to be 500 pixels, and background image to URL https goo.gl/04j7nn. Well, look at that now. And then let's see what's in the code. Jumbotron heading. Great job. The large feature section now has a background image, and the web page is starting to come together. However, the dark background image makes the heading and paragraph text difficult to see. Let's fix that with CSS, starting with the H1 element. In index.html, the div with the class of Jumbotron groups elements that are part of the large feature section of the web page. Inside div class Jumbotron is the H1 element we want to style. Therefore, we can select all H1 elements inside div class Jumbotron in CSS like this. So instructions. Make a new CSS rule that says Jumbotron. So it needs to be Jumbotron H1 color to FFF. It can be like 3 letters long, but since white is F F F F F F 6 F's, we can just do 3. Font size 48 pixels. Font weight bold. There. Jumbotron paragraphs. Nicely done. Now that we can see the H1 element text, let's style the P element so that we can see its text too. Make a new CSS rule that selects the P in .jumbotron. Jumbotron P. Okay, so same color FFF. Font size 20 pixels. There. Jumbotron fonts. Great work. The text inside the large features section stands out. Let's make the H1 text stand out more by changing its font. Custom fonts can be loaded from CSS like this. So it's like this. Yeah. Oopsies. Inside the head element are 2 link elements. The order of these link elements matters. The browser first sees the link for the custom font.css, and makes the font available to use in the page. Next, the browser sees the link for main.css. Since the browser now knows about the custom font, we can use it for main.css to style elements. In index.html, inside the head element, this link element. So I'm just gonna copy the href. This is a CSS file that loads up the custom font for use in the page. Okay, so yeah, it needs to be before that. Wait, so I'm gonna add a title. So it's gonna be Airbnb page link row style sheet href. There in main.css, inside the Jumbotron H1 selector, set the font family to shift sans serif. Okay, there. Learn more. Looking good. Let's finish up by styling the 3 pieces of supporting content. In index.html, the div class learn more groups elements that are part of the section. In main.css, make a new CSS rule, which is learn more. Set the background color to F7, F7, F7. So yeah, I like that color. It's kind of I don't know how to describe it. Learn more heading. Nice. Next, let's make the H3 text stand out more by changing the font. In index.html, inside div class learn more are the H3 elements we want to style. Therefore, we can select this element in CSS like this. Make a new CSS rule which that selects the H3 element in div class learn more H3. We change the font family to shift sans serif. Font size to 18 pixels. Font weight to bold. Learn more link. Nicely done. As a last step, let's change the color of the A elements. A elements as well. We're gonna create a new CSS rule with and we're gonna as the selector, we're gonna choose all the um, A elements and learn more in the learn more div class in the div that has a class of learn more. So there it is. Yeah, I like the color. Okay, 200 exercises, yay. Congratulations. Congratulations. Using CSS, you transform the appearance of your webpage. Currently, the elements sit one on top of the other. It's possible with CSS to change where elements sit on the page and create good looking page layouts. Let's see how to do this next. So yeah, this looks pretty good so far. Click save instructions. Click save and submit code to continue. Yay. Next. 63% done with make a website. So we only have these 3 units left. Wait, what? Oh, I get it. 2. Like what? One of them was this, all these cards, and then this was what we just did. So yeah, that is yeah, we need 2 more units left. So yeah, that's it for this video. Please subscribe, please like. Thank you so much for watching this video, and bye bye.